So the question for today is, how Berkeley can you be? It's a tall order because at the How Berkeley Can You Be Fest, it's hard to outdo the natives. So what's this have to do with our four-wheeled friends? Never fear, because when the wildlife descends on University Avenue, you can bet that ArtCars are leading the way. So shake it if you got it. We're saddling up and taking the ArtCar caravan to a place where the drinks are free and the imagination is free to run wild. What is it about the old Volkswagen bus that just looks at home in this outfit? The bus was one of the original canvases decades ago when art and car first met. So it's only appropriate that a 72 is among the first art cars to descend on Point Richmond, California, the launching pad for a weekend full of ArtCar festivities. Now, the bus might seem like a throwback, but don't be fooled. This is the non-hippie variety. Well, we'll reserve judgment on that. The name of the artist? Salmon Berry Mariposa. The name of the art? Amethyst.
Amethyst is the kind of crystal, like a purple crystal. And when I first got the bus in 1994, I had a dream that said amethyst on it. And it was kind of like flying through the air. I have no idea what it means. But I swear to God, I had this dream. So I decided that that was the name of the bus, you know?
Salmon Berry's repainted it several times, and it's picked up a few birds along the way. Last summer, he took the bus out to the East Coast and actually covered fuel costs from Wisconsin to New York with proceeds left in his donations box. On such cross-country adventures, Salmon Berry's magic bus is welcome everywhere. Well, almost everywhere.
This place called Snowflake, Utah, I had a bad reaction one time. But it was like a dry county, real Mormon, you know, conservative. But usually it doesn't matter where I'm at, people love it.
Now, a very different take on a similar canvas is the Cinnabar Charm, designed and driven by artist, computer programmer, professional gambler, and occasional imbiber of fine wines, Charlie Russell. You'll notice a powdery white patina, as if Charlie crashed the bus through a bakery. To those in the know, clear evidence it recently prowled the playa at Burning Man in Nevada's Black Rock Desert. In fact, Charlie spends a lot of time in deserts camping. This is where he finds the shotgun casings, all of which make their way to the Cinnabar Charm. As for all those little canisters...
As far as I know, those aren't CO2 canisters. They probably contain nitrous oxide. That's marketed for a propellant for whipped cream because it's bacteriostatic and has a pleasant, lightly Swedish flavor. Of course, I understand also that it can be inhaled for recreational purposes, and I have no idea what that's like. There are about 2,300 of them glued to the outside and the inside of the bus. I really don't know where they came from, though.
Neither do we. Charlie finished his bus in the wake of 9/11, although the Cinnabar Charm design doesn't directly represent the terror attack.
It was chiefly inspired by the Dia de los Muertos.
For those of you who never made it through Spanish 101, that's the Day of the Dead. That may sound like a horror flick, but it's supposed to be just the opposite.
It was making death a little bit less scary by robbing it of its power to remove us from the world, by bringing back the dead every year and honoring them every year, inviting them to come party.
And what better place to party than the How Berkeley Can You Be Fest? As the art cars converge, you can really see how they come in all shapes and sizes, from minimalist to just totally out of control. A lot of them are collections of thousands of knickknacks, magnets, dolls, or whatever. Every time you look at this old BMW, you find something new. A slot machine for the kids, a right foot on the left front quarter panel. Art cars can give a sense of discord or contradiction. The Art Car Discordia celebrates this with its wild array of wire, caging, martini glasses, and pearl necklaces. The Art Car community doesn't have any official political stance, but it's safe to say we're not exactly at a Young Republicans meeting either. Many art cars often carry more overt themes, maybe a certain striped animal, or this Mercedes Benz driven by Costas Schuler, the pen guy.
I've always wanted to do an art car, so one day I woke up, I thought, I should put the pens on the car. So I started gluing my first 20 pens in the middle of the night so my neighbors wouldn't think I was totally nuts.
Well, now, we all know. Anyway, he estimates there are about 2,000 pens attached already and plenty of space yet to fill. He's hoping to eventually build a cityscape on the roof, perhaps the tip of the San Francisco Peninsula. As you'd expect with your typical diesel Mercedes, it's just 230,000 miles young. It's an everyday driver, which gets not so everyday reactions.
Most people get that like blank stare, like what the and then they start laughing, and that's like the best response. And you get kids looking like.
Now, the pen guy has kids of his own, although he didn't bring the family today. Could they be embarrassed by Dad's colorful creation?
My wife thinks it's okay, but she won't drive in it as much because she's kind of embarrassed. But the kids are young enough. I got 2 daughters, but they're young enough so they're not embarrassed by Dad dropping them off at school. That's like next year. Dad, can you drop us off like 2 miles away so we don't have to be embarrassed by the pen guy?
Of course, his kids would really be the talk of school if they were dropped off in this bad boy. No need to write down your bus number here. Another Burning Man workhorse, the David Best designed bus, has a slide for the kids and a gazebo-like roof with plenty of room for the bands. And while we're talking about ambitious art cars, no such gathering would be the same without Car-thedral. The Cadillac Hearse Volkswagen Beetle combination is one of the most elaborate and well-known sculptures to ever hit the road. But it's a new face that's turning heads at ArtCar Fest this year, partly because this buxom brunette came all the way from Europe. It was designed by Boris Abramov, a Russian artist who emigrated to Israel and now lives in the Netherlands, where he drives a French art car. You follow?
The basic car, Citroën, it's called Citroën La Déesse. In French, it means goddess. So this is why I choose Citroën, because it's like woman already. The shapes are round.
Round like a woman. Boris said it, not me. Anyway, the car and woman are a combined form, starting with the hairy hood and outstretched hands over the headlights. Her generously proportioned figure extends back to folded legs, which straddle the trunk, leading us finally to the one piece of clothing to be found, a pair of high-heeled shoes. So what's the name of our sexy Citroën?
It's named by my daughter's name. Her name is Bodine. Actually, this La Bodine, she's more trouble than my daughter. My daughter, she's sweet and easy.
But could La Bodine possibly be as much trouble as Siren? Judging from some of these bumper stickers, probably not. Now, Siren's a classic, a 72 Seville. The theme is goth bondage, in case you couldn't tell. Most of the work's been done just over the past year, including the logo, which matches the tattoo on the owner's trunk.
That was actually the last thing I did on the car before we came here to the show this week. The tattoo I've had for about 1.5 years now.
Siren is a work in progress, and with a big car like this, there's a lot of work to do.
I need to do a bunch of work in the interior. I need to put new carpeting in. And then I'm going to do a kind of a seatbelt bondage theme in the back seat, where I'm going to have like a lot of different buckles and belts that'll kind of be self-configurable.
Who knows? Maybe it'll catch on and the California Department of Transportation will initiate a safety education and bondage tie-in. No pun intended.
You have to have seat belts for your passengers, but no, there's no rule that says you can't have more than one.
But there is probably a rule about cocktail bars hitting the streets. Of course, that hasn't stopped Jake Goldstein from bringing Von Tiki, his tricked-out Toyota that brings the party with it wherever it goes. Steel pipe, rafters, a wood frame, 4 full window shades worth of bamboo strips, thatch, a lot of marine glue, and, of course, the really important stuff, Jell-O shooters.
Usually we also are stocked with margarita and beers. We're kind of waiting to see what the Berkeley police situation is. We're not too sure what the legality of this is.
But revelers bellying up to Von Tiki aren't sweating legalities. There's Jell-O shooters to be had, and you can't complain about the price. Soon the cocktails were flowing, and concerns about police faded like a Tahitian sunset.
Hey, John.
Rejuvenated by our pit stop at Von Tiki, we stumble out to hunt for more wildlife, which in these parts doesn't take long.
It used to be called Pablo, and now it's become like a Puerto Rican drag queen called La Sirena. I'm not Puerto Rican, but my car is. I'm Jewish.
Well, after that introduction, we had to stagger after this not-so-Spanish siren and find out what the deal was. Her name is Iris Alroy, and if you want to know what makes her tick, you gotta take a tour of her '93 Honda Civic.
This is the bunny serpent. In the front, it's a fluffy, sweet bunny. In the tail, it's a fluffy, sweet bunny. And in the middle, it's an evil serpent with a very small heart. And so I think of this as part of myself. Also, the bunny serpent asexually reproduces. As you can see, there's his spawn.
We'll assume Iris doesn't asexually reproduce and move to the hood. The car's central motif, La Sirena, the mermaid siren. Down the right side, Iris's aquatic metaphors continue.
Over here is the part of me that wants to just belong to a group because these are eyeball fish and they're swimming in a group, and this little one is like, oh my God, wait for me. And this is the part of me that wants to belong to something, but I can't. I'm too different.
Now, not all art cars are quite this psychoanalytical. This 76 bicentennial Big Bang vehicle promotes science education. Images of chemistry, physics, and space abound. So who's the creator of this cosmic car?
Randall J. Schroeder, known as Cosmic Ray, the quantum mechanic.
And the thing the quantum mechanic wants to fix is the way kids learn about science. According to Cosmic Ray, tools like periodic charts fall a bit flat on their own, so he's come up with a new way of reading the table.
I got him drawing water molecules that look like Mickey Mouse. So with the electron hands and the proton ears, when Mickey Mole grabs Mimi's ear, that's how water sticks together. And then they came up with this Mikey Mole Tyson bites off of Vander Mollefield's proton ear, because that's what pH is.
Now, like any mad scientist, Cosmic Ray's Cosmic Cockpit has a unique filing system, which should make us all feel a bit better about our own car clutter. On parade day in Berkeley, Cosmic Ray decided to bring along his original periodic table car, which is signed by 7 of the scientists whose discoveries now sit on the periodic table of the elements.
Only element to ever be named after a living person. They even waited till Einstein died to name Einsteinium. So in '97, officially 106 became known as Seaborgium. And Glenn Seaborg gave a talk at the College of Marin Community College. And so I said, Glenn, will you sign my card, please? So Glenn walks out. He's like 6'4", 87 years old. And he puts his hand over his heart. He goes, oh my God. I'll never forget that.
Now, the car, too, is no spring chicken, and today it's showing its age. Mechanical problems will require a tow behind the RV. Cornering should be interesting. Now, one of the stars of the show here at Berkeley is a beauty of a bug, the glass quilt. It's the creation of Oakland mixed media artist Ron Dolce. After a fender bender years ago, he decided to do something radical with his '69 Beetle. He started by outlining the design with 10,000 marbles. After that, he started the stained glass inlay, a process 18 years in the making. And it shows. To give you some idea, the gas cap alone took an entire day of work. The detail is amazing, and although you can't do it through a TV screen, to truly appreciate the glass quilt, you need to guide your hand along the contoured mosaic and feel just how smooth it is. As with any art car, a question people always ask is how this handcrafted quilt of thousands of stained glass pieces stays attached to a shaking, vibrating machine, potholes and all.
All this stained glass sits on a bed of rubber, and you move along and along and along, and it's all physics. They're all interhooked, all interwoven.
In fact, the only thing that's broken is the engine. He's on number 3 and counting. Ron figures as long as someone can keep finding engines, the glass quilt will be roadworthy for a good 50 more years. Now, one car definitely not having engine trouble is this. Not everybody would do this to their brand new Honda Element, but ArtCar Fest co-founder Philo Northrup is an anybody. His notable works include the wild and wonderful Buick of Unconditional Love. Then there was the truck in flux with a living garden in back and mementos from his life added over time. With the Buick representing water, the truck in flux fire, the Honda is an earthy fit, completing this amazing art car trifecta.
I have spent so much time and money keeping my old art cars alive, I really wanted to start with a new Honda. And I really like the Element because it has a lot of surface area and the boxy shape. So I got something that's new and a cube, and I'm making something antique and curvilinear out of it.
Pretty much everything on the car is 80 years old. It's covered almost entirely with old ceiling tin and linoleum and other earthly items.
I've got a bunch of horns up here that have sort of formed the shape here. Old longhorn steers and elk and bighorn sheep. And that's a welded chain that was found in a creek in Oregon that forms sort of the spine of the car there. And like all my cars, they all have living plants on them.
Finally, no art car event is complete without the honorary art cars. Take the Banana Bike, a man-powered kinetic sculpture that once sat in pride of place at the San Jose Museum of Art. Believe it or not, the old banana is going on its 30th birthday, thanks in large measure to its fiberglass construction, lack of powertrain, and natural resistance to fruit flies. Now, another non-car art car we couldn't pass up on is Michael Patrick Finn's Soapbox Derby Coffin, which is hitching a ride with the school bus. Michael is really more the chauffeur. The real owner is the bony passenger, Hector, who goes everywhere his coffin takes him.
I take him to the Burning Man. He has more fun than I do. He goes to orgies, gets kidnapped. Better time than I do.
Apparently, Mike and Hector have gotten the coffin up to 60 miles an hour. Soapbox speeds deserving a NASCAR number.
But everybody thinks I'm picking on Daryl Earnhardt because of number 3. But we had this number on there 10 years before he biffed it.
As Mike and Hector are towed away to a better place, Cosmic Ray's towing isn't going quite so well. With the Fairlane chained in back, negotiating the turns is a challenge, even to the scientifically inclined. But you know what? That's okay, because with ArtCars, you can put aside the practical to find true freedom of expression between the bumpers. Because it's not getting there that's important. It's the memories you create along the way.
These shows are nice, and we enjoy them, and the art car artists really enjoy being with each other. But the natural context for an art car is in a world of normal cars. It's in the parking lot at the Safeway, or just down the freeway, or on the street, or just parked, and that's where you usually bump into them. And it's really a joy because there's something so wonderful and interesting that someone has done in this sea of uniformity.